नमस्कार संडे इवनिंग को कुछ देशों में संडे इवनिंग को welcome to all of you for Sunday evening for some of you and for me Sunday morning is around 6:40 in the morning for me in San Diego, California. And also for all my viewers and I like the love that you give me. Today is Har Har Mahadev Day where I'm going to talk about my favorite devata which is Mahadev. I normally don't talk about generally, but again, we'll go to the history. Again, history which is mentioned in Mahabharat and Ramayan. So, do get my book, search Sattology on Amazon, and you'll see my books with maps, references, and lot of learning. Because if you do not understand the context behind a certain thing, then you blindly quote. And also, I will tell you, there is no alternative to yoga. If you call yourself spiritual and you don't do yoga, that means you are not spiritual. The word Sanatan Dharma is practiced through yoga. Sanatan Dharma means connecting is a dharma of the soul and it connects you to Paramatma, all pervading Paramatma. Krishna tells Uddhav, Vadanti tattva tattovidas tattvam vidyanavadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. Now, people, most of you would like to go to motivational classes and you want to do how to get motivated, how to do yoga. When I was translating Patanjali Yoga Sutra, I learned so much. And it's a very difficult book to translate because you have to really look into each and every word of Patanjali. Then you have to triangulate with Krishna's words in Bhagavad Gita. Then you have to triangulate Krishna's words to, the Sutradhar for my translation was the word Yogeshwar. Then you have to translate that, connect that to Uddhav Gita, which is spoken by Krishna to Uddhav. And then you come to the exact meaning. And I have also done translation of Bhagavad Gita also for Americans as well as for Indians. It's called the Hindu Bible in USA as well as the Gita in India. The reason why I do all these exercises, number one, is my personal interest. I love what I do. And that's why I created a new word, Sattology. So please do join and you all can use it freely. Only when you want to associate with us, with the Sattology non-profit, and use Sattology name in your yoga studio or your teaching classes or your university, you can start a program. At that time, you have to take a license from me and my organization. Only at that time. Otherwise, freely use Sattology for our culture. Sattology means science of truth, study of truth. And it's a etymologically proven word. And it's a true antonym of mythology. With that, we go jump straight into the topic. Har Har Mahadev. Today, it's impossible to speak about Mahadev. I will be very honest with you. But I will tell you the little bit greatness where I can associate and where I know a little bit is the speaker of Bhagavad Puran and the son of Vyasdev and Arani. Dhritachi was the Apsara and Vyasdev with that Arani, uh, very great personality was born. His name was Shukadev Goswami. He spoke Bhagavad Puran to Parikshit, and you all know the history. The greatness of that incident is where I'm coming to is that his Upabhavit Sanskar, and because he was very dear to Mahadev, so many of the people who may say Shukadev Goswami is a the word Vaishnav Shaivite doesn't exist in our Sanskrit, our as a community it doesn't exist because they all denote a different path to the same objective, which is understanding and worshipping Paramatma within the heart of you and outside as Bhagavan. That's So therefore, Brahma Marg is a common goal. You can approach through yoga. Yoga is the only method to do it, and you can approach through different acharyas. But ultimately, you are attaining the same process where you do not take birth again. So the purpose is burning your karma, and that's the main purpose of it. So now, in today's episode, you love it because you're like the way I approach the things. I have taken many references of great personalities mentioned in Ramayana as well as Mahabharata, where everyone has approached everybody, okay, everybody. So Brihaspati was also there, and Shukdev Goswami took his learning, his initial schooling from Brihaspati, and the everybody in the world takes blessings of Mahadev, because without Mahadev, yoga blessings are not there and the yoga is not completed. The goal is something else. The goal is approach the padam vividam natesham, that we need to go beyond the platform of all miseries, and that is only possible through yoga. So when you today's presentation, I'm going to give you just a small glimpse, because it's not possible for me to describe completely the glories of Kailash, but I'll touch upon the mystical side of Kailash. That why, and there are a lot of people who sometimes they say that the Siddhashram is somewhere imaginary plane, or all those planes. We'll come to that programs later on. Where is Siddhashram? There is already one video also of mine. If you go to Sattology, you can do that. And do share, like, subscribe. People feel pity on me that our subscriber base is very less all the time, and I get mocked also. What are you doing for 2 3 years? But I do it for sharing the knowledge, and I do it for because there's a lot of interest there with people, and it's my own interest. It's my own interest. It's not just sharing, it's just my interest. And programs like these gave me motivation to do more research. So before I start off with, and I'm speaking in English because there are many people who do not understand Hindi. I can speak Hindi very well, I can speak Marathi very well, but I'm going to speak in English on this show. So let's jump straight there. Okay. So you can just give me a second. Let me just share my screen. Share the screen, and I'm going to take you to there. Can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, you can tell me where it is. So you can tell me whether you can see my screen. Now, in future, I'm going to, because there are many references in Vedas, and somewhere my team is also tweeting, and sometimes I tweet as well from Sattology, is that where we are questioning the many models of Earth itself. But for the purpose of this presentation, we are going to use, and if you can hear me very clearly, we're going to use Google Earth Map. And we are going to start with our favorite place on Earth as a reference point, Hastinapur. Okay. And when I drill down into Hastinapur, you will you need to know what place we are talking about. So on the Ishan Kon, if you some of you do not know, Ishan Kon means when you make a Vastu Purush on any geographical, on any location, any site, then Vastu Purush head is towards the Ishan Kon, like this. So Ishan Kon is the most sacred place for you in your house, in your business, and that determines the place where the worship is done. is a most sacred place. So Ishan Kond is the place which is sacred for you in any place you go. So if you make the Vastu Purush square like this, that's why Hastinapur or Indraprasth, which is New Delhi today, it is a perfect location for any capital in the world. You know why? This is Ishan Kond. This is Ishan Kond. You see my cursor? Do you see my cursor there? Okay. So this is Ishan Kond. So from Hastinapur, the original capital during Mahabharat times, the Kailash is right here, Kailash. And this is Mansarovar. Two lakes are there together. And most of the rivers of different rivers across India and other places, in India especially, 7 rivers originate from here. 7 rivers. And they appear to be coming from here, somewhere in the north, Gangotri and this area. But actually, this is considered to be the source. 3 rivers to the east, 4 rivers to the west. Now, coming to the main topic today. So, there are many references. So, when the Pandavas are waiting for Arjun to come back 5 years, Pandavas travel there. In Ramayan, there are many rishis going to Mahadev for blessings and doing tapasya here. Now, more important references are, like if you when you see that references are coming from north. I'm going to minimize this map so that you very clearly understand. See, most of the people, what they do, the mistake that they do is they try to fit the European map of India and try to impose Mahabharat or Ramayana inside that map, which is the first major fallacy for most of the people. Whenever you do research, my especially Ramayana and Mahabharat, you have to assume that the somebody who is writing it is very well aware of the entire geography of the world. Mahabharata is written by Ganesh. It's in the beginning pages of Mahabharata itself. And the condition between Vyasadev and Ganesh is that if Ganesh ji, who is the son of Mahadev, doesn't understand anything, he is not going to write. All of us worship Ganesh for removing obstacles, but then we doubt. He said, how did elephant head came on his head? Mahadev can do anything. The powers of Mahadev are limitless. In fact, Pashupati Astra was given by Mahadev to Arjun twice. One is in the beginning, before he went to the Swargalok, before Indra gave him the Vajra, and after, during the Mahabharat war, when he had forgotten because of his sadness, he was given again. Pashupati Astra, Mahadev came again. And Krishna asks Arjun to worship Mahadev again, to seek his blessings, because Mahabharat war was very tough. Very, very tough. Just imagine if Mahadev had to come again and bless him, that means what was the toughness of the situation there? Again, most of these weapons could not be obtained without perfection in yoga. Yoga means that you actually see Paramatma within the heart. Actually see it. So with your own eyes, like eyes open, yoga is never done closed eyes. Yoga is done slightly, eyes will be open, eyelids will be slightly open, never closed. Nowadays people in the yoga studios, they go to sleep. Like you can see snoring, somebody snoring loudly after doing shavasana. That's not yoga. Yoga is not to get you sleep. Yoga is to make you awake and conquer the sleep. That was Arjun. Anyway, putting the historical perspective there, and I'm going to, because I when I write my books I already research it, so I don't have to go back to the original text sometime, because I give a lot of references there. So let us now begin Hastinapur. We'll drill down and we'll go a little deep in the mountains. You see this map here very clearly. Okay, I'm keeping the cursor of Hastinapur alive, so that you know this is Rudraprayag. And the amazing thing about India is that all these places are still there. You know, so now you see the map here. You see Rudraprayag, and this is different Srinagar. This is a Himachal Pradesh Srinagar. Dehradun is on this side, and Hastinapur is here, somewhere here. Hastinapur is here. Hastinapur is here. Indraprasth is down, and you go up Haridwar. This is the path which was taken by the Pandavas, and they went up, and this is Badrinath. You see the path. Most of us, I was so shocked when I was in Delhi recently in November, and when I asked some people, very educated people, where is Hastinapur? He said, no, it's just a mythology. No, not longer there. I said, no, it's an actual city. And most of you may be already knowing that. I'm not talking about you as an audience who is already knowing it. But many of us did not know where is Hastinapur, because it's just disappeared from the tourist map of India. It is the major part of the tourist map of India. If you want to know more, you can see one of the earlier videos. Vyasdev says, if any history of the world that has no connection with Mahabharata text, that history is mithya. So most of the Western versions of history is not real, because they have changed the names of the places, and they have tried to disconnect as much as they can from Vedic history. And therefore, most of the history is wrong. And that has been purposely done to create slaves out of human beings. And that is exactly we see that the only thing people are presenting in most of the Western countries is jobs report. Jobs means just over broke. You know, because if the people are poor, they can be captive. If people are well informed and they can find their own livelihood, then they lose power. And that was the whole purpose of faking the history. And unfortunately, India is also flying. India is also following it. Anyway, let's keep to the topic. So this is the if you see the Hastinapur, most of the expeditions, whether it's a Ramayan or Mahabharata, most of them, they had a perfect knowledge about these places. Okay, and I'm going to read from my book. It is Pandavas, the famous five. You can see that. So there is a very famous history of Yudhishthir and Jatasur, where Jatasur tried to become a uh, infiltrated the ashram of Pandavas and tried to kidnap Draupadi. And and then he was dressed as a monk, as a Brahman or a teacher. And then Yudhishthir knew it, but he maintained him because he did not do any harm to them. Yudhishthir knew it. Bhimsena was the first one to identify him. And Bhim knew. So they were all keeping an eye, but not attacking him because he did not do anything wrong. But when he tried to kidnap Draupadi, at that time, Yudhishthir tells him that you are cheating us. You are actually not cheating us. You're destroying your own dharma. Everybody follows dharma. Rakshas also followed dharma. And some people they say, see, the thing is, understand one thing, the word asura is a superlative term, includes a large group of people who do not follow the Vedic culture. They're called asura. Rakshas is the one who has already performed an act of enmity to Vedic culture. But Daitya and Danav are different species altogether, and my knowledge is purely coming from Ramayana and Mahabharata, because Daitya is someone completely different species, and Danav is also different species. Don't, but collectively all of them are called Asura because they are all. So this is the meaning. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, two types of people: Daiva, Asura. It, so just understand this difference. Don't get confused ever. So because people get really confused, but I can tell you with a lot of references. I can give you a lot of references. So here Yudhishthir mentions the words Rakshas, Devata, Rishi, Siddha, Pitra, Nag, Pashu, and other. So he has mentioned all the things separately, clearly, because they are all different people. Like Ghatotkaj was a Rakshas, but he was Deva Gun. He was a devotee. He was a Bhakta. And he had amazing powers. Because, like I said, Rakshas, he had the power to fly. So during the 5 years of Pandavas, when they were waiting, and most of the time they spent in this area, Badrinath. Now, towards the right, you'll see a large mountain chain here or here. Before that, do you see this one? Looks like a vein and the spine of somebody. You know. So this area, if you see, it's in straight line with Kailash. Kailash is right here. These mountains are straight line in Kailash. And Dhamme Rishi is, Kailash is right here. Dhamme Rishi is actually keeping Kailash on the right and then moving north. So in my book, you'll find exactly the places where Pandavas are also born, because people say, oh, Pandavas, the Aryans came from Central Asia. Well, understand, today the name is Central Asia. But during the Mahabharata time, the whole Asia was Bharat. Okay? So, so it was still Bharat. It was under the rule of Hastinapur. Hastinapur's boundaries I've already discussed with you. Hastinapur's boundaries in the northern direction are clearly described, none other than Duryodhan. And we discussed in one of the earlier shows that if you look at the distance between Hastinapur and here, this is considered as the center of the earth. Center of the earth. The sun's movement through different Rashi, Makara, and everything else is considered with respect to this place. So this will bring into question many, many things, and our Vedas declare sun's movement, and any Jyotishi will tell you sun's movement, moon's movement. Anybody will tell you. And there's a very classical show of mine on Nakshatra with Nilesh. He'll also explain that everybody's Nakshatra is unique. They don't repeat, mentioned there. But anyway, we'll just focus. So this is the place from which the sun's movement is recorded, where it's coming from. And the thing is, the more you read, the more you try to triangulate and use a scientific temperament. Scientific temperament means 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. Means this is not, this is not, this is not, this is not. When some people say that why Indians are so sharp in numbers, because we are taught to think logically. We are not here to accept anybody's dogmas. Therefore, many Western governments don't like Indians because we challenge them all the time. And we keep challenging them, we keep questioning them, and people like me will never get an entrance into any academic institution. We don't want to, but we'll never get it because there's a biasness on open thought and the scientific thought. And we don't have to worry. We have Ganesh ji with us, we have Vyasdev with us, we have Mahadev with us. So anyway, now Yudhishthir became very heavy, punished Jatasur. The story is there. And Bhimasena also does that. Then very interesting thing happens. And why I'm covering Bheem's story here with this respect is because when he goes to search for flowers, now they are in the Badrika ashram. So distances you need to know. This is Meru Parvat, And the line from there straight goes to Lanka, which if I go down there, if you see a line from here straight crosses to Rohtak and Ujjain and reaches right here. Right here, somewhere here it reaches, and left is Lanka. This is Lanka, on 00 meridian. This is 00 meridian somewhere here. you know. And the this is the map looks like. This is the directions we are talking about. Now, going back, so the in we drill down further so that we reach Badrinath. Okay, Kedarnath, Badrinath. We reach. So we are in Badrinath here. So Hastinapur goes up. Pandavas are here, and Bheem's encounter. Because see, we don't teach our children. We don't teach our children to take risk. But look at Kunti Maharani. Kunti Maharani had 5 sons, and Kunti Maharani taught her sons to take all kinds of risk to protect dharma. In fact, Pandu Maharaj, when he takes blessings from different devta, asks Kunti to pray. He asked specifically for every son, the one who is attached to dharma, one who is attached, who is as powerful as anyone. No human can be as powerful. Arjun, the one who can win wealth. Indra is known to win wealth all the time. And the Madri asked for 2 sons who are exquisitely beautiful children. And that's why we know Nakul and Sadev. Very beautiful. And Sadev was the beloved child of Kunti, because she took a vow to give the sons of Madri more love than her own children. So she asked Yudhishthir to take care of Sadev the most because he was the youngest. Like it's very normal for any family. The younger child is a beloved of the family. So now this is where the Bheem is there, and Draupadi and all the 4 Pandavas and the Draupadi are living here along with saints, and they start moving north. And Dhamya is also with them. And throughout this entire exercise, Dhamya is keeping Kailash on the right. And Dhamya is the one who goes up one of these mountains up, and he tells Yudhishthir that on your right, you'll see the mountains which are strewn around. These are the bones of Narakasur, which were killed by Vishnu. And after that, you will see Kailash. Now, today also, if you go one of these mountain peaks, today, you must try, because many people go to Badrinath, and people go to Badrinath from Dehradun. Generally from here, they go to Badrinath here. And you can see Kailash on a clear day. You can see Kailash very clear. It's very prominent on this side, very prominent. Unfortunately, this is in China today, but the Chinese have no history with that place. For them, it's just a piece of land. But for us, it's a lot of cultural affiliation, cultural. It is deep down in our culture from the Ramayana period, from the Treta Yuga. Okay. So now coming to the point, actually, because some of you will think that I'm boring you, but coming to the point, Lomash Rishi, very prominent person, is protecting Bheem, all the 4 Pandavas. And sometimes Pandavas would walk, and sometimes they would be riding on the backs of Rakshas armies of Ghatotkach because they could fly. That's why Ghatotkach was chosen to visit by Sadev. Sadev took help of Ghatotkach. Ghatotkach is in a way his son also, indirectly, even though he's the son of Bheem. But whenever Pandavas would think of Yudhishthira Maharaj, think of Ghatotkach, he'll come along with his armies. So Sadev requested him to collect taxes because Ghatotkach could fly to Lanka. So that means Lanka in the middle of the ocean was existing till Mahabharata period. So now, Yudhishthira traveled through the valleys of Gandhamadhan mountain, and then Mainak, Kailash, mountains of Himalaya, and they would move from peak to peak. Okay. On the 17th day, they reached the ashram of Rishi Vrishaparva. Vrishaparva. So they would, all these mountains, they would travel 5 years from peak to peak. You know why? The reason is there. Because Indra had said he will return Arjun in this place after 5 years. No? And during this stay, they met Vrishaparva. There is a very the Pandavas stayed with him for 7 days. On the eighth day, they decided to proceed further north, and for for 4 days they traveled on foot to Himalayan peaks. So Himalayan peaks are these are the Himalayan peaks. Okay, Badrinath is still considered foothills, but these are the Himalayan peaks. These are all Himalayan peaks. If you see the map below, so these are all Himalayan peaks. You see the major snow part, and they would travel on foot for 4 days. And this I'm talking further up ahead, up over there. Mainak is in the Ishan cone of this mountain. Ishan cone of this mountain. Ishan cone of this mountain is where? Somewhere here. Somewhere here. Ishan cone, like northeast. If you go same way, like this direction, Ishan cone has to be here. So one of the mountains in the middle is Mainak, not the Mainak which they show in the map, because I'm strictly following the directions here which are there. So now if you go further down, they reach Malyavan mountain, which had many lakes filled with flowers and fruits, and lotus, many lakes were there. And then they saw the Gandhamadan peak clearly. So we are talking somewhere in this area. If you go down there, it's a huge area, and the map looks very small, but they're talking about somewhere in this area. And like if they go reach here, then automatically they're above Kailash. You know, somewhere in this area, these areas, a lot of lakes are there. And if you look at Tibet, filled with lakes, filled with lakes on top of the mountains. You see the lake, blue, blue, blue dots everywhere. So we are not talking about small area. Unfortunately, due to the Western imposition of their maps on us, we have been taught, most of the Indians have been taught that their history is very small, only the Europeans. No, Europeans took help of Indians to travel in all these areas. Only thing they did was write books, and according to their version. You know, other than that, they didn't do anything. But we had much older books, and our books were not taught. Even today, they are not being told in the Indian education system. In anywhere, they're not being taught. And most of the writings are purely to get the funding from the West. The dollar is controlling the narrative, literally. You know. Anyway, many Pandavas appreciated all this beauty, and the mountain, when they were in the Gandhamadan mountain, it was filled with black, gold, green, brown, geru, which is reddish, and white. Now they reached the ashram of Ashtir Sen ashram, and which is very high up. Like if I drill down here, Badrika ashram, Arist Sen ashram is somewhere here in this area. It's difficult for me to point it out because a lot of references are not there, and it needs much more research, and I'm working on it. I'm working on my new book, and there where I'm researching on it one by one. So every book of mine is a continuation of my own journey, and so you should also take benefit of that. And in very interesting Kim Purush Loka. Now when the in the Mahabharata itself is mentioned, when Shukdev Goswami is coming to Kailash, he crosses Hiranyak Parva, Hari Parva, and comes down, and then crosses Kimpurush Loka, and then reaches Kailash. He also comes to Kailash. Like I said, Shukdev Goswami was Upabhavit Sanskar was done by Mahadev himself. Okay, he's son of Vyasdev. So that means if you look at the map here, and this will show you how important is Kailash to our culture, how important. And unfortunately, it has been gifted away. So if you look at this map, then this Ishan cone of Meru Parvat, and from there all the way down Shukdev Goswami come, that means Vyasdev must have been somewhere there doing tapasya. Like I said, during Mahabharata time, India was not this. Bharat was the whole continent was Bharat. In fact, the upper boundaries of Hastinapur are somewhere near the Khantegri mountains, which are which is above that. Uttar Kuru starts above that. Uttar Kuru is the some place where Pandavas did not go because the people are very saintly, and there was no need to fight over there because they were engaged in only sadhana, which is most of that region falls in Russia today. Most of that region, it is very green, and you can make it out. You can see that very green area. All these is parts of Uttar Kuru. Right above this, everything is Uttar Kuru. You know, so lot of history, lot of history, and everything else is like I'm just following the maps and the directions. I'm not trying to put my own brain into that much, other than analyzing the directions, which mountain is where, which lake is there, and so that accordingly we can make out what is there. Little bit things have changed, but the descriptions of lakes can change, lakes can appear, disappear, rivers can change, rivers can disappear, but mountains cannot. You know, as long as there are mountains on earth, Ramayana will be sung and spoken, written by Valmiki himself. Okay, that is a blessing of Brahma. Anyway, so and then it at that time, so there is a mention of Kuber. So you need to know Kuber is a devotee. All the Yaksh and Rakshas generally are devotees of Mahadev, and great saintly people are Shukdev Goswami also. Like everybody is a devotee of Mahadev. Nobody. If anyone tells me you don't like Mahadev, I said you don't understand anything. Anyone who is on the path of yoga or real spiritual, yoga means spirituality, will be a devotee of Mahadev. There is no other option. There is no other option. Because, I mean, why would you need another option when Mahadev is so kind? Okay, so Kuber is a devotee of Mahadev, and he worshipped Mahadev. Many great personalities, including Vyasadev, prays to Mahadev. To even the Shukdev Goswami was very dear to Mahadev, but Vyasadev prays to Mahadev so that he can be engaged in. So when Vyasadev has a problem, he discusses with Mahadev to seek his guidance in the yoga. Even Vyasadev is doing yoga, whereas in Bhagavad Puran is very Shukdev Goswami explains Vyasadev as Vishnu avatar, but still he is discussing his issues with Mahadev, because everybody goes to Mahadev for solutions. So here is a very important thing here. So in the Kimpurush Gandharva, and then Kuber comes down in planes and aircrafts and other things in this area, very commonly visited place. And I was talking to somebody, like the people who are into UFOs, and I personally, I love these topics, but I don't have to spend too much time there because I know it's a reality. And I just said, according to my study of Ramayana and Mahabharata, this entire area is the most active zone for planes of devatas and devis and higher beings who are engaged in yoga, because many rishis also fly in planes. Many rishis, they're gifted by the devatas. They come and down, and like, so this entire area, this entire region is practically impossible for normal planes to fly or fight. You know? Because this area is considered very spiritual. A lot of mystical things happen there. And nowadays it's an American term, alienology, which I don't believe in anything, because I believe that devatas and devis are the right way to address, and sometimes that they also. But good news in Kali Yuga is that in Dwapar Yuga, after Dwapar Yuga and Kali Yuga, they are forbidden to attack life on earth. Sometimes they do create disturbances. I've seen many reports of aliens and other places where they have affected the mind of the planet, of the pilots, And very, you'll see one of the videos coming shortly. I'll give you a precursor of that with Com Kapotier, where you'll see that both of us discussing where Indira Gandhi was told that there was a UFO activity they seen there. For me and you, like people who have faith in Mahabharat, this is a very normal thing. Planes are very normal. Even Ravan had a plane. Whose plane he had stolen? Kuber's plane. His own brother, elder brother, cousin, elder cousin brother. So this entire region, because the plane travel of nowadays you see planes, different type of planes, but they also had a lot of planes because impossible to travel with foot all the time because you have to reach quickly and everything. So very commonly visible phenomena because this area is filled with yaksh and rakshas and kuber, and because everybody is trying to meet Kuber, the Pandavas are trying to meet Kuber. So even Pandavas met Kuber over there. And special occasions, Kuber, who is the king of Yaksh and Rakshas, comes riding to observe the festivities. And you can hear Tumburu or Gandharvas singing for the pleasure of Kuber. Until you meet Arjun, you should stay here comfortably and wait for him. So, waiting time is in the vision of Kailash. And this is where the whole topic of today is mystical Kailash. Because nowadays we're very fascinated by the word mystical. And yes, mystical, this is, oh wow, what is it? There's some secret behind it. You know, the European mindset we are thinking. For people who are well versed in Veda, Puran, Mahabharata, or anywhere else, this is a very normal thing. Nothing mysterious, nothing mystical. Everything is real. You can see with your own eyes. If Pandavas saw it, you can also see it. Only thing you have to focus on is yoga, sayam, dhyan, dharana, samadhi combined. You know, meditation is a buzzword, and so nowadays, so we have to use people talk about meditation experiences. Generally, in our culture, these experiences are never spoken in the public. The reason is the moment you speak it, that power goes away. So people who share that they saw Mahadev and they saw, not possible. Because if for Pandavas it was not possible to see Mahadev so easily, even Kuber so easily, what will the ordinary person will see? But there are some people who say that. And and I give full benefit. I take people on face value and I said, yes, आपने देखा होगा. You must have seen it. Um, because I can't say it. But when I see the quality of people able to see Mahadev and Kuber, no, I am much lower than that. So I have not definitely not seen it. But I have faith in Ganesh. Ganesh is writing all these references. Okay. So now here, the quality of the Bheem was Bheem had no fear of his own safety. He was like Dabang, you can say Dabang, like free thinker, free, like he was completely carefree, not careless, carefree. And sometimes he did act where Bheem was overtly used his force too much. And that time he was admonished by his elder brother Bheem. So anyone who says that compares the five Pandavas has actually not studied Pandavas. In my book, by the famous five, I have mentioned all the five brothers, and you cannot compare. If you make a comparison, that means you don't know. You know, five fingers, you cannot say this is better than this finger or this better than this finger. You cannot say that. Pandavas are like five fingers, they are together. There are differences in, like in any family, like your family, any family can have differences, but they're together. You cannot say that I'm going to stop using this one finger or this finger. You cannot do that because all fingers are important. So five sons of Kunti are all equally important, and do not compare them. Anyone who compares them doesn't understand them. Okay. So now coming to, and I'm going to move quickly because of the time also. So anyway, many things are mentioned. Multicolored flags. Even today, Tibet, you go see multicolored flags all over the place. Ladakh, Tibet, all these areas. You see that old culture during Mahabharata time also. And there were different types of palaces. So Bhim was the first one to see the palace of Kuber, which was made of gold and crystal. You may ask me, where is it not seen today? Is it not there physically? There are many secrets of Himalayas. People have been searching, they cannot see it. It's a very mystical place. The entire place is very mystical. And Bhim, because he's carefree, plus he's a Pandava. He's a son of Vayu. He's already blessed by the Devta. Without the blessings of these Devtas, you cannot see things. Many things you cannot see. And then he ran towards the Yaksh, Rakshas, and Gandharva to attack them because they were trying to be hostile to him. Like I said, he was carefree. Son of Vayudev. He's the brother of Hanuman. In fact, Madhvacharya is said to be uh, the incarnation of Bhim, of Vayudev. He's also considered son of Vayu. So anyway, and they attacked him because they're protecting the palace of Kuber. The first person among the five Pandavas to see was Bhim. And why he was seeing it? There is a reason for that. And because he was searching the flowers to get for Draupadi. Because Draupadi had asked for certain flowers and he was searching. He went there. And he used Bhalla. So some people, Pandavas, say, oh, Bhim was using Gada. No. All the five Pandavas, their favorite weapon, like you can, if there is a thali of plate, there'll be one or two things favorite of yours, but it's not that the thali will be just for your favorite food. Similarly, all the five Pandavas were well versed in all the weapons, whatever was available, but they had a choice, favorite weapon. But modern Mahabharata, when I see the discussions, oh, Pandavas, oh, wow, what is this thing? People don't know, people don't read, people work on derived knowledge, and people are getting, see, living in USA, I never given credit to any American author, including very famous ones who come on Joe Rogan's show or something, because they're all speaking like small kids. I don't give any relevance to them. I do my own research. And I have my own version of things coming from Mahabharata. Because if I don't follow Mahabharata, it's all mythology. So there, Hanuman, now here very clearly mentions that Yaksh and Rakshas, Bhim attacked them. Now, this is the part of mystical because these people are there even today. And therefore, I usually jokingly say India has nothing to fear because these are all going to protect India in times of war. And Chinese Communist Party has everything to fear because they don't understand the spiritual significance of the lands they have occupied. But anyway, the whole Asia was Bharat. China was paying taxes to Hastinapur, and this is a historical fact mentioned in Mahabharata. So if Indian government wants to use this information, they can go back to the Mahabharata era. If China claims to this area as to be theirs, they said, okay, we claim the entire China, including Mongolia and North Korea and South Korea. Anyway, so Yaksha and Rakshas then have human-like bodies, and Bhim cut all of them, destroyed them completely, and with golden arrows. That means Bhim was well versed in archery as well. And they all the Rakshasas were not afraid of were very scared of Bhim. Even though Bhim was like a human, like a Manushya. Rakshas is a different category, I explained to you before. And then Maniman, a very close friend of Kuber, was also present. And this is all happening around where? Now you'll be shocked. So Bhim has gone all over these places and he's right here. Bhim is right here. Here. Entire fight is happening here. So Bhim must have come from Badrinath, crossing here. So this area, the fight is happening. This area or this area, we can approximate because and this area, the fight is happening. So he has come all the way here. It's called Kagrin Boge in Tibet right now, but it is actually Kailash. So fight is all happening here because he wants to go here because Kuber is somewhere here. So he must have seen the palace. So now he's going there, and the Bhim's fight was Bibhatsa. Bibhatsa means like which can scare the enemy completely. Sometimes we say हमने किसी पे आक्रमण किया नहीं, हम तो किसी पे आक्रमण करते नहीं है. And but that is not proven here. Bheem does a ghastly warfare. Ghastly means the enemies will be scared to fight with him. So Kuber's best friend Maniman comes there, and he was the closest warrior. And Bheem crushes him completely, crushes. And Kuber is informed. Kuber is informed, and the Kuber, uh, uh, the from the no, the Pandavas were very close by, not very far, because I told you Pandavas had already was stationed somewhere uh, to see meet Kuber. They wanted to meet Kuber, so they were up here somewhere, somewhere in this area, because these are not mountains anywhere; these are hills. Yeah, so Kuber was placing it, and also Narkasur. What was happened? Pandavas would not be on those mountain peaks. So there, and then uh, and then Kuber actually comes and he expresses to Yudhishthir that you need to control your brother Bhim. I would have killed him. I could have killed him. But I had a superior instruction because of some bigger cause of dharma you're going to execute in future. So I had to protect. So I did not do that. But you must control. At that time, Yudhishthir. So Yaksh, Rakshas, plains, hidden palaces, hidden places, all around Kailash. Nobody goes on Kailash. Nobody climbs Kailash. You will not find a single reference in Mahabharata people climbing Kailash. People come to this lake, and this lake is huge, huge. Like from the very high up in the space image, we can see it's huge. And all the fights with Bheem happened around here with these mystical people. Okay. And because of this, and there's so much killing was being done that the water of this lake became reddish. So anyway, and Kuber came on Pushpak Viman, which was made by Vishwakarma, and showed the engineering skills over there. And there were many Rakshas and Rakshasa whose ears were pointed like nails. You see in many cartoon movies of the West, nail pointing, pointed ears. Probably they have stolen something from these descriptions, or they have come with their own imagination if they were Yaksha or Rakshas in the past life, something like that. Because you get inspiration from past life, what you have done, and accordingly you do this. Karma plays. And Kuber put a golden garland on Bhim's head. And that's how the Bhim was respected by Kuber for his bravery. To fight with Yaksh and Rakshas by human is not possible. And Kuber acknowledged that the special position of Bhim. Now just imagine, this is the power of Bhim. And in Mahabharat Yudh, just imagine how powerful must be other warriors also equally. And why Yudhishthira had to prepare so well? Because he knew what he was fighting with. So nothing is easy in life. Just because Krishna was with them doesn't mean that they have to leave their karma. The karma we are a karma pradhan society. For us, the main thing is karma. So actions speak louder. And so the description of war, I captured in my book, the description of war is so, you can say, vivid that you literally see everything happening in front of your eyes. Literally. This is the beauty of Mahabharata, and people should read it. Don't read the English translations. I have in my books I try to maintain that mood of bhakti and also yoga devotion, so that people can actually see what is happening in simple English. And since I know Sanskrit, I can never claim to be perfectly knowing Sanskrit, but I can understand Mahabharat's words because reading for 30 years now. I never told her before that I read Mahabharata so long, but I do it. I like it. And then Dhaneshwar, and then he tells a story of Kuber tells a story. So Kuber is real, Yakshas, Rakshas are real, Danavas are real, and so no, nothing to be surprised. There are a lot of YouTube videos I say, oh wow, that's a city talk, city lingo, and Americans are, oh, there's no aliens, only we are there. All American Air Force pilots will tell you they met somebody. Everybody, so many experiences. Unfortunately, and they come here to USA more because they want to control the asura. So you'll find more occurrences there. In India, they don't disturb much because people have faith. People know. Anyone who reads Tulsi Ramayan, they know the Bhagwan Ram. When Bhagwan Ram is at Matangamuni Rishi Ashram, Indra is there. Shatabringa Rishi Ashram, Sutiksha Rishi Ashram, very common. But because the West doesn't know, or they have been made to forget, for them it's, wow, what is this? So, and the Indian city kids also do the same. Wow. So many video shows are there. Wow, what is that you saw? Tell me. So I want to debunk, I want to burst that mystical bubble. Don't be feel surprised. Don't feel surprised. These are all real. If it is in Mahabharata, it is real. There's no imagination over there. And Kubera says, I went in Mahapadma, 100 Mahapadma, which is billions. Mahapadma, billions. Anyway, there I met Agastya. Agastya Muni is real. Where Kubera is saying, I met Agastya. Is not just a star in the sky. It's a real person. Okay. So Maniman was Kubera forgives. So people say, and Kubera is a very unique bodily form. He has one eye. And Kubera, they feel that, oh, he's an alien. For Europeans, everything is an alien because they don't have Mahabharata. So therefore, they don't understand anything. Anyway, so this is the story of Pandavas' travel and direction of Mandarachal. Mandarachal is very common. Like from this direction, we know Mandarachal. So Mandarachal is somewhere crossing this area towards the ocean. So if you look from this area towards the ocean, this is Mandarachal, somewhere in this area. I do not know which mountain is that, but in my next book, I'm going to clarify that because Mainak and other things I've already clarified. Mainak is the Ishan cone of Kailash. No? So Kuber went returned back to Kailash. So Kailash is the region where Kuber lives because Kuber's Ishtadev is Mahadev. And who is Kuber? He is a treasurer of the entire world. This earth, not even this earth, Swargalok also. Now, all the different loka, he is a treasurer. Very important position. And Kuber is sometimes here or sometimes with Mahadev, wherever Mahadev is. Mahadev is in Vital Loka. And he goes there, he stays with him. And Mahadev comes to Kailash many times whenever he wants to come. So therefore, Kailash, Mansarovar is a very important area for us, for our culture, as mentioned in Ramayana, Mahabharata, and it's a beautiful area where we must never give the claims and we should always worship. Unfortunately, you will take a visa to go there. So I will, for today's show, I am going to stop sharing and I will take questions now. If anyone has any questions, you can ask. I hope you're loving the show today. I had a big gap, and next week we'll be back with a group of our Indian American. We are all together. We're going to come to the show. So the questions are there. Please become a member. Do support us on Patreon, and we are recently we will be going to. We will be traveling to Mexico for some videos and also back to Peru and Ecuador for some videos on ancient sites of Vedic history. Plus, we'll be also doing a lot of research on Native Americans. So do support us, do become our members on Patreon and do our courses. That's how we spend the money. Most of the money is spent in training and providing food and other things, travel to most of the people, and majority of the people are volunteers. So one question which has come in, uh, any question is there? Uh, uh, um, I don't see any questions here. So if nobody has any questions, then we'll end the show. Okay, there's one question which I can see. A lot of people there today. If I was discussing any political topic, there'll be like thousands of people there. People that find juice in that. But these topics people don't find. Are also real, they are from Pleiadians. Don't use these words Pleiadians, Dadians, and all these things. Gideons. Don't use these words. These words are for European references, and we all know Europeans is like a kindergarten study of history. They're not connected to Mahabharata. They may make you know when I called some paleontologist as a dinosaur bone collector, people were very offended by me. But anyway, that's what it is. Anyway, Saptarishi are real. If all these people are real, then how is Saptarishi not real? Saptarishi, all Saptarishis, they are sitting at the feet of Mahadev. You need to know that. Okay. Nobody disrespects Mahadev in the entire Vedic culture. People say, "Oh, you're disrespecting Mahadev." Nobody has a right to even say like that. Only foolish people make such kind of comments. Uh, this is one point is there. Samsaram, they are arranged by celestial god Indra and Kubera. That's right, Palomiji. That's right. Uh, then loved it, sir. Can India claim mountain? This question is Anup Sauji's. Can India claim mountain? You don't have to claim. You don't lay claim. You take it over. Just go. You don't have to claim to anyone. If you have faith in Mahadev, you just take it. All the modern nation state theory is not approved by Mahadev with Mahabharata Ramayana. Uh, I call it Kailash because that's the way it is written in Sanskrit. Okay. Somewhere is Kailash also. Both are there. And Brahmastra. Aditya Verma is saying that Ravana and Kailash tell some more next time. I'll do that next time. I have the whole history of there. How does Ravana go to Kailash? Why does he go there? All those details I have, but it is outside the purview of today's. Today was mystical Kailash, and also the place where Shukadev Goswami takes shelter of Kailash mountain, and there he leaves his body. Shukadev Goswami chooses to go to Surya Graha, and with the blessing of Mahadev. Okay, and he is the one who spoke Bhagavad Puran, which is all about Vishnu and very dear to Mahadev. Mahadev comes to do Upavit Samskar, the first Samskar. Vyasadev calls Mahadev to do the Upavit Samskar. Himalayas height increasing. Just understand, Bhagavad Gita explains that Himalaya is a sthavara. That means it's stable, it is fixed. Okay, so the height increasing and all those things, I do not know exact scientific details, but Bhagavad Gita has a very sthavaranaram Himalayas, so it is stable, because generally the mountains are known to fly in Vedic culture. Fly. Okay. Can we plot the place of Mahadev in Kailash? Understand one thing: without yoga, nothing is possible. So if you become qualified by yoga, you can directly see Mahadev. The question of Aditya Verma is there connection between Narakasur, Shiva, Kailash, Nagas, Kubera type A? Don't use the word aliens. Aliens is an American terminology. Earlier, any Indian coming to America will be called ARC, will be given to him. Alien registration number, ARC. I also had ARC. So anybody foreign is called alien in American parlance. Okay, so just alien, don't use the word alien. These are devatas and higher beings. Higher beings in the sense higher in spiritual terms. There is no gradation of physical high or low. Spiritually. Agenda with humans, again, very, very illogical question. Some of these devatas, their purpose is to elevate us in yoga. Some of these people, They are inimical, but they are not allowed to act freely in Kali Yuga. So don't be scared. The fear psychology to aliens is stupidity. Uh, yes, through Sayam. Dhyan Dharana Samadhi. So in Dhyan Dharana Samadhi, in combination, we'll do it. Read my book, Transcending the Mind. They will find it. Then you have Akshay, but I read somewhere Kailash Nath means. Okay, there's a question comes from Lakshay Goel. Okay, Arya, but I read somewhere Kailash means dead body. I don't even want to answer this. No, this is not true. Pronunciation. Okay. Sacha Insan. Sir, this session on how to control lust. Is there any book for it? Kam Esha Krodha Esha Rajoguna Samadbhava. Okay. Wherever there is a desire for enjoyment and anger, that's where lust is there. So, desire for enjoyment and anger can be controlled through yoga. That is the solution. And I have 3 books on that. There is one is on karma, one is on Gita. I have written translation, and Transcending the Mind, which has all the details. Transcending the Mind of Mind book is Patanjali Yoga Sutra with one of the best reviewed, critically accepted translations have been there, which has a commentary from Bhagavad Puran as well as Mahabharata as well as Bhagavad Gita. So please read that. Okay. Thank you all very much. Please do become our member, and it is up to you. You can help us grow, and we'll continue to bring some exciting content every Sunday. You should join me and also bring more and more subscribers to our channel so more and more people are aware of what we do. And do support us. There is a Lit Fest we are organizing in San Diego. Do join us for that Lit Fest in August 25 in San Diego. Or if you're in San Diego or Los Angeles or any part of the USA and you want to call me for discussions or speech, let me know. I'll be happy to come there. And if you want to travel with me to Mexico or other countries, do send me an email. Send me an email at sattology@sattology.org, and follow our Telegram channel, Facebook, everywhere else. You should join us and become part of this journey, Sattology journey. So with that, I will end the show, and namaste. Good night to you for Sunday, and do share this video to many people, and namaskar.